To be continued, the podcast, episode Quattro.
Oh, this is 4. This 4 is my favorite number.
Yes, episode 4. We are finally, back. We're here. Mm-hmm. This episode probably won't premiere until probably the new year.
So happy 2020.
Ew.
Right. Hope everyone had a great holiday. Hope everyone got what they wanted. Hope everybody, if you didn't get what you wanted, hopefully you were at least able to enjoy yourself, whatever that was for you. Okay? Because whether it was Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, you name it, celebrate.
Do you have any plans? I mean, I know it'll be afterward, but do you have any plans for the holidays?
Personally, yeah, I'll be going back to Virginia. My mom did send me some money so I can get some gas so I can go up there. So I'll go up there and visit them. As long as they know they're not getting gifts until after Christmas.
That's the word.
They'll be all right, you know. So, but don't start. Don't start. Our
conversation got into this in episode 2. So
right.
Listeners will understand where that "don't start that conversation" comes from when they hear episode 2.
We're storytellers, and because we tell stories, sometimes we just get completely off track. And yeah. What about you? Are you doing anything?
Actually, I was looking through my missed calls because I thought all of them were bill collectors, and this is winter break, so I'm not answering bill collectors. But one of them was actually my dad, so I'm pretty sure he is giving me the command to be at his house on Christmas, which Statesville's not far at all, so I'll probably head back there if that's what he wants. If not, I love to just chill out. Hulu, Netflix it up, eat whatever's in the house.
Absolutely.
And keep going.
All right. I guess before we move on, we should go ahead and introduce our guest for this week.
Of course.
You better introduce some people tonight.
I am not even going to attempt to introduce this woman of excellence because I love her so much, and I secretly watch in the audience at everything that she is becoming day by day, putting in the work. So I'm going to let her introduce herself, but I just want to say welcome before you get started, and I am utterly excited to have you here.
Ooh, okay, self-introductions. I low-key hate doing this, but all right, so Tajanae Barnes. I am a 2-time alumna of North Carolina A&T. Go Aggies, A. I'm currently a doctoral student at University of Nevada, Las Vegas. What else do I do? I'm a wonderful woman of Delta. Oh yeah, I have a business. That's what I'm here for, right?
I mean, all the things that you were saying, I was like, clap, clap, clap.
Okay.
Brilliance by Tajanae. I do a lot through Brilliance. It's kind of like my hub for many ventures that I have planned. But as of right now, Brilliance is kind of more on the consulting and content development right now. So yeah, it's growing. It's fostering great ideas, and we're just moving forward.
Right. If you refer back to episode 1, we did give a shout out to Tajanae and her excellence. She is like that. if you haven't heard, you should definitely go get you some research.
Episode 1, you used a whole different term, but
listen. Right, I did. I used a whole different phrase, but listen.
It was endearing.
It was. And I just want y'all
now
to...
I gotta go back and watch listen to episode 1 because I haven't listened to it yet.
But it's okay. It's nothing bad. And we'll just... So, I guess, kind of tell us like how you came up with, your handle. Like, Brilliance by Tajanae, and why Brilliance?
Honestly, I came up with that. I was in I want to say the second year of my master's program at A&T. It was 2015. And I was honestly just trying to work all my hustles. I was editing. I was writing papers. Don't tell nobody that. But no, I was editing papers. I was writing papers. And I'm Native American, so I was also making dream catchers. And I didn't want to just put myself in one, like I didn't want to be known as the editor or like the girl who makes dream catchers. Like I wanted to be able to bring all of my ideas together. And I'm like, well, this is like a brilliant idea. And I was like, oh, bam, Brilliance, by me. That's what it is.
Come on.
I sat on it for a long time. Like I said, it's been pretty much like my baby since 2015. And I tried to get back into it every so often, but school takes my life most of the time. So now that I actually have time to focus on it, I was like, all right, well, let me actually figure out what I'm doing with this business and how am I going to structure it. And it's forming to something pretty dope. So that's pretty much how it came along.
I just want to say that I just had a nostalgia moment.
Do you still have your dream catcher?
Okay, my room is really messy, so I'm not going to show you, but it is still over my bed all these years later.
Brandon got one of my very first big dream catchers.
And I am still in love with it. And so it still is over my bed after all these years.
That's awesome.
And I would totally show you if my room wasn't a complete
Hey. And, well, just to keep the ball rolling here, Tajanae doesn't just do, one or two things. She does a plethora of services that she offers. She's a certified notary public.
I am. I'm certified notary in Las Vegas.
Okay, she does resume writing and critiquing. She makes dream catchers.
I do.
She's a professor.
I am.
Hey, don't forget that.
Okay.
Because folks try to chime in on credentials. Okay, you have them.
Okay. Because
we dropping credentials. Okay, let's see. I have been teaching. I taught high school for a year. I've been teaching college for 4 years. I'm a personal tutor to a future. We just gonna say future because this little guy is dope. Future Major League Baseball player. Yeah, I'm just trying to get in where I fit in. Like whoever sees my growth, I'm just happy I can be of service. So
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Again, if you'll refer back to episode 1, I actually had Tajanae review my resume and revamp it. And after she did that, I got a bunch of callbacks from all these different. This was back when I was trying to get back into the higher education system, working for student unions and stuff like that.
And this is probably when I was just learning resumes, so I actually know some stuff.
Come on,
right? Okay, because right now it's time for me to. I gotta reinvest and get revamped again.
Okay,
it's about that time because I'm trying to again do my career shifts. So look.
Yes, now I actually know some stuff. I'm looking into getting resume certified, so look.
She's not a slouch. She's not a slouch.
Okay, because that means she's going to get it done, and guess what? You will be satisfied.
Okay.
And if you don't believe me, if you don't believe us here, go and read the reviews, honey child.
Because they're on my Facebook and my website, brilliancebytajanae.com.
Okay, listen, we will drop the link for you below.
Because in the first
Check her
episode,
out.
I think we had to cut it out because I spelled the whole thing. I was here for you. I was here for you.
Literally,
we just don't drop the
every
link,
single letter, every single letter.
Yeah,
and it was funny. I didn't end up cutting that part out, but
and that's okay. I just want to let you know that I was here for you.
The only reason I cut it out is because we put the little video and I put it in the video.
Oh, you're right.
With the spelling and everything.
But I do want to ask a question. When it comes to, you mentioned you were in a doctoral program, but I just want to know, how do you did your ideas for your company guide you into the path you wanted to take education wise, or is that something that it's just kind of been pulled along?
I honestly have no idea how I got to where I am. I actually have been thinking about that a lot because I actually have a new venture that I am premiering in the new year. Actually, I'm going to premiere probably tomorrow. I'm going to do like a soft release. I have a blog called Becoming a Black Graduate Student, The Good, the Bad, the Reality. And it talks about how I found my way through grad school, some funny stories, because I be dealing with some shenanigans being the only Black graduate student up there in Las Vegas. And yeah, so I kind of just got into this PhD program, honestly, because I felt stuck when I lived in Greensboro. And I wasn't in a good place. I wasn't happy. And I knew that education for me was the only thing I knew how to do at that moment. It was just like, all right, I graduated from my bachelor's program. And because I had so many issues trying to change my major as an undergraduate, in order for me to graduate on time, I didn't get into secondary ed. So I just graduated with English. And then I went right into master's because I was like, well, dang, I done graduated. I ain't got no teaching degree. I can't teach. What am I supposed to do? So I went straight into my master's. And then afterwards, I taught at Smith High School for a semester. And then I taught at A&T for a year. And I was like, well, dang, what's next? Like, I mean, I'm an adjunct. I'm teaching a 4-4 load at A&T. I also taught at Virginia College, and I taught a 3-3 load there. So what that is that's how many classes I teach per semester. So essentially, I was subbing at a high school during the day, teaching classes at A&T in the afternoon, and working at Virginia College like twice a week in the morning. So that's 7 classes a semester, plus also subbing at the high school when I can. And I was a full-time volunteer coach. So I was tired.
Wow.
All the time.
I'm tired
like,
of just listening.
Literally, like, my days are like 12, 14 hours. And I taught composition. So just imagine 7 classes. A&T had a 25 max. So what is that? 100 students at A&T per semester, plus my 100 students at Virginia College per semester. And all these kids I'm subbing at the high school level. And I was tired and I felt stuck. So I just started applying to programs. In my first year applying, I actually got denied. And the only reason I got denied is because I refused to retake the GRE. They wanted a specific, they wanted the subject as GRE. And I had taken the general. And I was like, I'm not spending that money again. It's a $200 test. Actually, it was $260. I'm not taking that test again.
You passed.
It's okay. You're not even going to look at the scores.
Right.
I don't want to take it again. So I didn't get accepted anywhere. So then I was like, all right, let me really sit down. What am I going to do? So I reapplied. I got in and I took a leap of faith. I was like, all right, cool. Well, this is where I got accepted. This is where I'm going. So it is what it is. But honestly, I ended up in Vegas because I felt stuck in Greensboro. And I didn't know what else to do. No?
It's very interesting that you say that because that's pretty much how I feel at this point. I just feel stuck. Like I'm here. And I just feel like I just feel like there's nothing left for me to do here.
Right.
And I just need to leave. But I don't know where to go. And I don't know what to do. So I guess I
just applied everywhere. I was like, okay, what schools have the program I'm interested in? Here we are. Now who offering the most money? Cool, that's where I'm going. And that's literally how I ended up in Vegas.
Yeah. I'll probably have to end up doing something like that because at this point I just don't know what to do. I just feel stagnant and I'm ready for a change.
I think that's your personality, though. And a part of me, I feel like it's also yours, Tajanae. I think y'all both have very go-getter, and y'all are always in motion. Like, even if you're in one place, you're literally, both of you, like with your writing and things like that, when we talked about that, y'all kicking up new ideas in the motion until it forces you to move. So, I mean, I think it makes sense that both of you, like, you had it at that moment and you're feeling it now, like you're ready to, you got to, because it's not going to settle in that.
I feel like You remember on Toy Story when it was that, I forget exactly which toy it was, but it kept like running into the wall. That's how I feel. I feel like I just keep running into the wall, instead of taking a new path, I just keep running into the wall,
hoping you'll get through it.
Hoping that eventually the wall will open up or won't be there. Life doesn't work like that, so gotta figure some stuff out. But one of the questions I had for you, Taj, is about being a certified notary. Mm-hmm. Was that hard to do, like to get into? Was that expensive was it an investment you made in yourself? Like how did that work out?
It wasn't as expensive as I thought it would be. And it really wasn't necessarily hard. I don't know how it works for every state, but for the state of Nevada, it was a 3-hour certification online. So you pay for the class. I think the class was like $50 or $60. You take it in one sitting, and then you take the test. And then that's it. Like, you pay for your journal and your stamp, of course. And then I think I had to pay for the stuff to get up there. But it probably didn't cost me no more than like $150. So
that is cheaper than I thought.
Yeah,
it was way cheaper than I thought. It was. You have to pay for the class. You have to pay for the certification. So I think altogether, like the beginning steps, it probably cost me like $70 to $80. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, at most probably like $150 to $200 if I'm thinking correctly. But way cheaper than I first thought before I actually researched it. It's not bad. Not bad at all.
So being a notary, right? Mm-hmm. What exactly is it that you do? You just watch people sign stuff and you just stamp it and sign it?
Actually, it's way more. Look, I'm looking at that handbook all the time. Like, okay, there are certain steps you gotta, because there's certain wording for different types of paperwork. There's like 7 different forms that you can notarize, and you have to, for some paperwork, you have to have people say an oath to you before you can stamp, and you have to have certain identifications. So it's a lot more complicated than some people make it seem. Like, as far as like getting that signature. But really, other than that, it's just making sure the wording is in proper order, is in the format that they say they need it, and signing it. But knowing all that stuff is like, I don't know this. Like, what? You need a what for when? Why is all these lines here? Who's all the people that needs to sign this stuff? Like, where are these people?
Right. How you gonna bring this? How you gonna need 7 signatures that only bring themselves?
Like, what? No.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna need you to come back with these other 5. Thank you. If you want my stamp, I need the other 5. Buy 5. Thank you so much.
So, do you set your own rates for that? Is that something you can do?
No, I have rates through the state. Okay. So if I decide to charge, because you don't have to charge, if I decide to charge, I think it's like $5 max per signature. Then they have different rates. Like, if you have 2 pieces of paper that need to be signed, I think, and you only have 1 signer, it's $5 for the first signature, and then like $2.50 for the second signature, and so on and so forth. If you have 2 signers, it's $5 per signature, and then $2.50. So, and then they break it down. If you got to travel to somebody out of your current county, they break it down to like what you can charge for the state. So, I'm just in Clark County. Look, if you need something, come to me. I'm not going to Reno. I'm not going nowhere, because first of all, I didn't know Reno was an 8-hour drive from Vegas.
Wow. Yes, it really is.
It's so far.
The only reason I knew that is because I had an interview in Reno last year. This is 2019, right? Yes, we still 2019. Yeah, last year I had an interview in Reno, and it was like, Vegas. I was like 8 hours. 8 hours.
Can you?
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. You can fly, and the flight is super cheap, but
It's just the
You
fact
can't just
that
hop
it's-
on the highway and be like, hey, like, I'm not going to Greensboro to Charlotte.
You literally have to do
There
like
are-
an extended vacation.
There are literally people who literally commute every day by flight from Reno
Wow.
to Vegas, like every day.
You know, I think I'm not such a big traveler, so it's like I don't realize just the other distances that people, because I can't take it. Like, I hate being in the car that way.
Yeah.
I drove to pick up my friend in Marietta, Georgia, and that was 5 hours straight. That's the longest I've ever driven. When I got to his apartment, I hopped out the driver's seat, and I was like, your turn. I was like, I can't do it anymore, to have to focus on all these other cars and things like that.
Yes,
8 hours of
I
that?
can't do long road trips either. I think the longest road trip I ever took, me and my friends went to New Orleans in 2015. It's an 11-hour car drive.
Oh, no, man.
And my homeboy drove all the way down there, and then me and my best friend split the drive back up. And I was just like, bruh,
I couldn't do
y'all
it.
might got 3 hours out of me. Like, I can't do this.
Maybe.
Like, even driving from Greensboro to Atlanta is tough for me. It's tough. I get, what's that? Highway hypnosis? Really bad. I be zoned out.
I don't know how I get to work every day. I swear, I'm so thankful to the Lord above that I have not crashed my car, because I don't remember traveling, merging. I don't remember any of it. And I'm like, that's because it's so easy for me to just get in the car and be like, okay, I'm moving. And my brain's like, boom.
I can't tell you how many times I've been driving in my car, just literally just driving down the street. I'm like, damn, was that lightweight?
Right, you don't know.
I don't even know.
You just like, thank you, Jesus, because clearly
I
should have been dead a long time ago.
Look, we talk about road trips as I get ready to gear up for this road trip to Virginia. Like, oh my God.
Oh,
Don't get me wrong. I
that was
don't.
fun, though. That was a fun trip.
I don't. Virginia. Oh, the times. The good times, the bad times. The receipt paper.
I'm telling you. I don't even...
Girl, don't.
Why?
That's a story.
That was a spur of the moment, right?
It kind of, for the most part,
Yeah.
yeah. So
He's
that
the
was
only
just-
reason I've ever traveled. And it was like spur of the moment things. I'm just like, okay, I'll go.
All right, cool.
And I end up having the funniest laughs ever.
And those be the best trips, the ones that you don't really plan. You kind of just go
Right.
and you just do something, and you get there, and it's just like, okay, maybe we should have planned this. I don't know.
What are we about
But
to do?
pretty much, we did a lot though. We ended up going to the anyway. See, stories. Stories. I was about to be gone somewhere.
My name
okay.
is Tangent, short for Tangent.
We'll talk about that once we finish up with this.
Okay.
But one of the things, I guess I want to go back. I keep referencing this first episode, but on the first episode, the reason we had brought you up initially was because we were talking about our credentials, and I was talking about how I have these different things that, you know, that I did while I was in school, but that aren't on my resume. Mm-hmm. So I guess the question would be is what, I mean, not that we're trying to get, you know, free game or nothing, but, you know, whatever you can share without having to charge us. You know?
Here's her free consultation for all listeners.
Okay.
Don't hit her up for not near another one.
Okay. So I guess what exactly should a college graduate, I guess, include in their resume? Like, should they include, you know, the different activities and things that they did while they were in school? Is that something that you should just kind of just leave out? Is this too specific and we need to, I don't know.
No, it's not too specific. It really just depends. Like for me, I have different resumes. I have an editing and consulting resume. I have an academic CV. I have a creative resume. So it really just depends on where you're applying to, which is why when people reach out to me, I try to tell them I don't want to make a general resume for it. Like I will make a general resume if you know exactly where you're applying and if this resume is going to help you with it to apply at least 10 jobs. But you should always have the most relevant information for whatever you're applying to. So like if you're applying for a teaching position, they're not going to care that you worked at the CAV. Like what teaching service have you done? Right. What internships have you done? What leadership positions have you done? So you just want to make it as relevant as possible. I think having activities is wonderful on your resume because it shows that you're not just in the classroom. And a lot of jobs are work that, at least that I've seen, are service oriented. So even if you're an engineer, they want to see that you're able to communicate with other people. So having service activities or having just community activity that you did on campus is a big thing because they don't want somebody who's going to work for them and can't talk to people because that's how they make their money. Right. So I think, having certain things on your resume is important, but it shouldn't be filler information. I know people who try to put literally everything on their resume that they've done since kindergarten. And I'm just like, why do you have a 6-page resume? Like, how do you even expect me to edit this down? Like, you're only supposed to have stuff on your resume for up to 5 years. So if you have stuff on your resume right now from 2012, please take it off because it's old. Like, absolutely. You can't even call these people anymore because they're probably not even in leadership to reference for you. So yeah, just take it off. Take it off. 5 years maximum is what you need to have on your resume. Because we don't care what you did in high school. What did you do in college that's going to help you matriculate into this business world? That's what we care about.
Right.
Pretty much.
That answers my question.
I just wanted to ask a question when it comes to branding yourself, I guess, in a different light. So I'm an educator, but I'm also very interested in community activism. But I don't have very much experience in that realm that I would say would come up on a resume.
Okay.
So do you have any tips for people who may not have necessarily professional experience in a field they want to go in and how they could better start branding themselves as still qualified?
Honestly, for me, because I'm kind of dealing with that issue right now, because all of my experience is in education, but I'm trying so hard to break into industry writing. Like, I really want to do creative content writing, like, so bad, but I have no experience yet. So my best advice would just be, all you need is one yes. Like, literally, that's all you need is that one little thing on your resume that's going to say, I at least have this.
Right.
And have some samples of some stuff you've done. So at least you have something that's going to prove what you're saying. But other than that, listen, I'm struggling too, because honey, I don't know.
I think your blog is going to be a good, I guess, breakout.
Yes.
To that creative space.
Yeah.
Because even though you're talking about that matriculation.
Yeah, it's a lot more informal than my academic work. Listen, I be struggling writing papers all the time. I know I'm an English major and I'm supposed to read and write all the time, but I'm tired.
But I think people know, even though I'm not like one who has to do that right now, I just think the appreciation for the English language, but also the fact that there's just so much that goes into just creating a piece of work, I think people take for granted. Because the last thing we've had to do was write a quick little research paper for a graduation project or, one of our classes in college, but I never had to write nearly as much as you.
I look at emails sometimes and I'm like, did you take English in undergrad? Like,
it's real.
You grown. And I don't know. I feel like other majors should definitely take more than 2 English classes. For real.
I agree.
I love all academics and trades and everything, but baby, if English is going to be the primary language, we need to teach it.
Listen.
Correctly.
Especially in the age of
your senior year, they should make him take an email composition class. And how to send emails like
professional English class.
But most schools do have that. I know A&T has business writing courses. They just don't offer them. A&T has a whole curriculum surrounded on business writing, and we can't offer them.
Is it more of a not enough?
I think we have it. I don't know what they're doing now because I haven't been there in a while. I at least know at UNLV now they have the same thing. They have a business writing curriculum, and they have probably about 3 or 4 classes on how to write for business professional careers. I'm not really sure what the demographic is for those classes, but I do know it's offered. When I was teaching at A&T, we had a business writing curriculum, but it was included in our English 102 classes. Mm-hmm. So I taught business writing. That was a part of my whole curriculum. We started with, I think, MLA and APA format essays. I taught them how to write proposals. Then we worked on resumes and business portfolios to get ready for, the career fair. Mm-hmm. Some of my students got interns just from being in my class, or internships from being in my class. And I felt like that was something other teachers need to be doing. But not everybody implements that. And it really just depends on, the teacher and what their teaching style is. Because, higher ed doesn't have a pedagogy. Mm-hmm. So you teach what you teach in your class. But I think teachers do need to implement business writing in everything, not just English. Or I know the business program, they work really close-knit with A&T's Writing Center because they want to do business writing as well. I don't know. I think we need some pedagogy in higher ed.
Don't disagree, because there have been many of classes I have taken where professors know what they're talking about but do not know how to teach it. Mm-hmm. And
I think that's because there's you don't have to be a blank education student to teach in higher ed. So for a lot of them, their content knowledge is superior, like Omega class, but their delivery has never had to be worked on because they were just looked at as the academic.
And I can't even sometimes I be in that same boat where I just be looking at my students like, I know what I'm talking about. But I don't know how to give it to you because I do have my moments, and I just be like, Professor Barnes, what's a prepositional phrase, baby? Listen, I know how to. I can point it out.
Right.
You asking me to break it down? I don't know.
Okay.
I can't. I don't.
Mr. Morrison, so you telling me the negative charges are attracted to the positive? How they know each other?
Well, how do you and your best friend know each other?
I just can't give sentience to everything that exists in nature, my dear children. What does sentience mean? Let's backtrack.
See, now you're doing too much.
All right, let's backtrack.
You're doing too much.
I love my kids.
I do too. I enjoy teaching.
I love my kids too. I coach basketball.
Okay.
And they get on my nerves, but
as they should. Cause they're growing with you.
Yeah, they're young.
You spend all your time with these people, literally.
Oh my goodness, and it's so funny because I taught fifth for 3 years. But to move up to 6th grade is a whole different arena.
Because I think they're grown now.
I'm telling you. And to see
school.
that manifest, but then like you can just ask them to see you outside and just try to talk through something and they'll burst into tears like that 10-year-old that they were the year before. Now they're just 6 feet tall. But it's just so interesting. And then some of the things that you mentioned about your students, I'm like, it really doesn't change no matter the age. It's just the student-teacher dynamic is still there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bless them.
Bless it, honey child.
I'm thinking about going back to grad school, but I'm just laughing at the fact that can I be a student and a teacher at the same time?
You can.
How did that work for you?
Honestly, it's working fine right now. When I was at A&T, it wasn't bad either. Well, did I teach? No, I worked in the writing center while I was in grad school. But I'm teaching now, and it's not bad. But I also don't teach all day. Mm-hmm. I teach 2 classes a day for an hour, 15 minutes. So, and I only teach twice a week. So I'm probably not a good person to ask.
No, but I mean, as a doctoral student, I know there has to be a lot of like a demand as the student portion, so the teacher portion has to hopefully be smaller.
I think it's different for me because I teach college, so I set my own kind of schedule and guidelines. Like, I just finished grading. Grades were due, December 16th? I think I had just graded like a month and a half worth of work the week before grades are due. Because I was just like, I have my own work that I need to do. Mm-hmm. I want to be the best teacher I could be, but y'all just have to sit on these grades and y'all gonna have to be okay with it. Because I have my own work. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm very forthcoming with that at the beginning of the semester as well. I tell my students, hey, look, I'm a student just like you. Give me 48 hours to answer your emails.
Right.
Because I have the same amount of emails y'all get. I get on top of y'all emails. So I'm going to get to you, but you got to give me a minute to breathe. Because I'm not this superhuman that people think teachers are. Like, I'm a regular person. I got this job. I got my other job. I got schoolwork. And I have a life.
Right.
Like, I'm young. Listen.
Let you be great.
I'm not sitting here waiting on y'all emails all day.
Right. And you know what that means? You know what that means? Don't wait to the last minute.
Okay.
To ask a question about your paper.
Okay.
Because guess what?
You're not going to get it.
Okay. It's not for you.
Paper was due a week ago. I can't help you. I'm sorry. Oh, hey. I'm sorry. I'm just seeing this.
Right.
What was your question? Paper was due, girl. I don't know how to help you. No, but for me, I think teaching wasn't bad while I was in my master's program because I learned how to balance. Like, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty okay, I'll say, with time management when I can actually get a schedule and follow it and it be a consistent schedule. Like, I don't have stuff coming from every which way all the time. So it wasn't bad once I figured out my schedule and I actually followed my planner. So
I have one more question. It's sort of along the lines of teaching and things like that, but you did mention, you're young. You don't have to shout out your age, but no.
I'm 27.
But, technically you're not a traditional doctoral student. Mm-hmm. So, usually people who are doctoral students have lived their 20s they got families and everything. How is it learning to be an adult, learning the adulting process while also trying to, establish yourself with your credentials and your things so early on in life?
Oh, adulting is hard.
Amen.
Adulting is
podcast title.
Hard.
Adulting is hard.
Absolutely.
I really don't. It hits me sometimes, and I think it's because I have not necessarily a traditional family, but we're coming into the age where it's okay for us to put building families and stuff on the back burner until we get to where we are.
Right.
But then you have parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles who looking at you like, okay, when you have a baby, like,
ready.
like literally, if I hear this baby conversation one more time, I'm just like, well, dang, I just got a boyfriend 30 seconds ago, and y'all already married me off and moved me out to his house. Like, my gosh. So I'm really just dealing with my own stuff. Like, I try to not pay attention to other people's expectations. I live up to my own expectations, especially because I often deal with imposter syndrome. Like, I deal with it very...
we were supposed to talk about that. That's another episode. That's another episode.
This is the Lord. This is the Lord.
I deal with imposter syndrome a lot, if not once a month, every other month. And luckily, I do have one other Black woman doctor in my department. She just got hired, and she finished her dissertation and her PhD. She graduated. She was 28. She graduated 2018. So I just look at her and I'm like, oh, you're doing everything I want to do. Like, so
that's great.
I'm just, it's just one day at a time. I literally have all my bills laid out on my phone. So I'm like, okay, let me handle this. And then I have all of my responsibilities in my planner as far as like school work and like travel plans and Delta work, because Delta be working.
Look, okay.
And it's really just one day at a time, living up to my own expectations. Because at the end of the day, listen, I'm gonna live. Who gonna live my life with me?
A word.
And who gonna pay my bills but me?
A double word.
Leave me alone. If you not over here giving into this, I'm good with that.
That's all right. If you ain't contributing coin, I'm not contributing concern. Amen.
Right. Okay. I follow a couple of people on social media who are actually PhD students, different types of PhD students. I know one of the girls that one of the young women that I went to high school with, she is currently going to school to get her PhD in math, I think. Another guy who graduated from A&T, he's in school right now for his PhD, and they both kind of feel kind of defeated. Is that something that I don't know? I've seen them both on separate occasions, and they don't know each other, but I've seen them both on separate occasions kind of say that they felt what's a good way to put it? They felt, I guess, for lack of better terms, defeated. They said that as they've been going through the way that people have kind of torn them down in the process, in this PhD process, is that something? Is that a similar sentiment that you have, or is that something that you think is just different for different people?
No, grad school is a haze through and through. I don't think I've experienced it as bad as some people, but I have had moments where I've had a colleague of mine tell me subliminally that I wasn't a good writer. And the way he said it was, you write like a magazine columnist. You don't write like an academic. And I was like, well, what does that mean?
Ooh. He must have thought you couldn't infer the shade.
And like he was trying to help, but because he got that same haze in his program, it's just, generational curses, I guess. So it's really just whatever training they're getting, they, your predecessors, they bring it on with them. And I don't know, grad school it can be really, really tough for people because, like I said earlier, there is no pedagogy for higher ed. So you're not learning a standard. You're learning someone's standard. And every person has a different standard. Like right now, I'm learning how to write for myself because I feel like throughout my entire progression through this program, I've learned to write to the academic superior, which is these older white men. And that's not what my work reads, because I do a lot of contemporary literature. So I have this awesome black woman who's in my department now, and she's reading my paper, and she's like, what does it say? What does it say? I did a 1-page assignment for her class, and she gave it back, and it had 15 comments on it. And I just sat there, and I cried, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, this is literally how they've been telling me how to write the past 3 years. You've been telling me I've been here for 3 years for no reason, because now I don't know how to write. Like, my work is incomprehensible. And, so it's really just, it's hard, because it just depends on who's grading you for what, because no one has a rubric or a grading scale that they go by. Higher ed is pretty much, for me at least, it's based on your feelings at the moment. Like, is this person doing okay? Are they following, these certain rules? Are they doing this? Are they explaining that? So grad school can be defeating if you allow it to. But I told myself with this PhD program, I cried enough through my master's. If it don't get done, it is what it is. Like, I'm going to sleep. I'm not about to cry myself to nowhere again, because no, the moment I feel stressed, I take a nap. I call my line sister to be like, hey, let's go to happy hour, because I'm not allowing myself to do it again. There's no point. It'll get done.
Period.
That's a word.
That degree ain't going nowhere.
That's a word.
Listen, I was on Facebook today looking at people just graduated from A&T who started our freshman year. And I'm so proud of them. That degree gonna get there when it get there. I'm okay.
You still show up in Aggie access.
Okay.
And you still say, at the end, you're going to get this.
Right.
Listen, I'll be fine.
It don't matter how long it took you to get there.
You got it.
But you got there.
Okay.
That's all that really
And you
matters.
still have a bomb job afterwards.
Okay. because
Congrats.
Okay.
Because that's what Aggies do.
Hello.
Did y'all see the commercial?
I don't like that saying. So.
Yeah.
I will say I do like this. The College of Education. They have the Aggies Teach shirt, and I'm like,
No, that's cute.
I need to get me a yellow one to go with my blue one. I did have a question that kind of goes along with those last two. How does it feel to be one of the only African Americans?
I don't want to do it anymore.
There you have it. No more.
Well, I think for me, it's difficult because I'm such a black person, and it's just like I'm the only person studying contemporary literature. Literally, my entire cohort is studying pre-18th century Gothic and medieval literature, and I can't relate to that.
The why.
So I have no one to talk to as far as academics,
Right.
and then because this is what they're into, I have no one to talk to outside of academic. So unless I'm calling some of my line sisters, I just be lonely, like, because I have nobody to talk to in my whole entire department. Like, I have no one to bounce ideas off of, no one who's gonna effectively read through my work and give me good feedback because they don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So it's just like, I thought, I was gonna be this bomb, waymaker. I was gonna go here, get my PhD, then I was gonna go to another PWI. I was gonna help the black kids there, and I'm just like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. Like, no, not at all. Like, imagine being the only black person on faculty trying to teach what I want to teach. No, I don't know. So, I mean, I'm going to still apply, but I'm definitely applying back on the East Coast because I know as far as West Coast schools, that's it's pretty big to be the only black person in the room and the only black person in this space. I know that's not as big of a problem back on the East Coast and back down south. So I am applying to schools once I go on the job market down south and back home. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna have to take a salary, honey.
Okay.
Some type of salary to get me to be the only one again, because I just...
Get your salary for a couple years.
Who said that recently? Is watch the person who likes to be the only black person in the room.
I saw that.
I saw that, so I can't remember.
That's a word.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable in that space. I really am. And I know that sounds prejudiced and discriminatory. No. Call it what you want. I am uncomfortable around a lot of white people. I don't like it. I would rather be...
Davis, that's how it was there.
I would rather be in the slums.
It feels like
living in roach infested housing than
well,
live
as long as they look like me.
Yes.
As long as they look like me, I know.
I can't, cause at least with black people or other people of color, I know what I'm getting.
Right.
White people, sometimes they want to be your friend, sometimes they want to call you the N-word, and I can't.
And I think, and we always have to reel it back in, but I think there's a societal justification for the wishy-washiness. Mm-hmm. Like, society says it's okay for you to interpret Brandon this way one day, and when you see him with a do-rag, you now see him as a danger. You know, or you're shocked at the fact that he actually wears those because you're so used to him and his button-up. You know, and so...
Oh, we got the new black faculty member. They used to call me her all the time. I'm like, girl, what?
And it's
I've
sad.
Been here for now a year and a half.
You are.
I see you all the time.
Right.
Like her, she has way more hair than me. She's awesome. She's beautiful, but we look nothing alike. Mm-hmm. She's shorter than me. I'm just like, what?
And then they act like they want to get mad because you don't answer to the other person name.
Right.
Because that's not me. I'm never gonna answer to it.
Yeah, but no, I can't imagine being the only black person again for so long. Like, no. And not have, or let's say, I can't imagine being the only black person and not having an outlet. Mm-hmm. Because when I went to Vegas, it was literally just me. Like, I hadn't crossed Delta yet. I had nobody. I was depressed. Mm-hmm. I had nobody to talk to. And then I couldn't call my mother and talk because I'm 3 hours behind. So she in the bed by the time I get out of class or I get off work. So, yeah, no. It was not okay for my whole first year of school. I couldn't do it. Because they always want to do weird stuff too. I just, I can't imagine doing that for the rest of my life. I would literally go insane. Y'all have to commit me somewhere because...
Brilliance by Tajanae is now down. Right. Because she lost it.
Under construction.
Right. You're a whole doctorate student, but they're going to go back to former A&T student.
Right.
Loses it.
Right.
On colleagues in Las Vegas.
Forget all of the credentials I have built.
You go all the way back to undergrad. Not even your master's. Former A&T undergrad.
Right.
Because you know they ain't going to claim you got your degree yet.
Right.
Not two. I'm going to stop asking questions, but I do want to say that it has been an utterly nostalgic moment. And my heart is just so filled. That's one of my favorite gifs is, what's the dude's name from The Office? The main guy that Steve Carell played. Well, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. But it's like he's standing there, he's like, his eyes are all wide. He's like, my heart is just so full right now.
Yes, this is actually a very great conversation. It was very productive, and I learned a lot. And hopefully, the world will. Hopefully, this episode can bring awareness to not just, just our listeners, but to people who they talk to as well. So they can people can go out and get that resume revamped and get that job that they want. Everybody, for all my people who feel stagnant, who trying to get a new job, Brilliance by Tajanae. Come on.
And listen, don't be afraid to take the leap. Because I had never... Listen, no. I
thought we were done and the sermon has come.
I had never even thought of leaving as far as I did away from my mother. Like, I was just like, you know what? I catch a flight. And now that I'm there, I'm like, dang, that's a 5 hour. I come home quite often. Mm-hmm. Quite often. And it's a 5 hour flight all the time. And I just be so tired.
Yeah.
And it's just so exhausting. Because flying is more cramped than being in the car.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It's tight.
Especially depending on who you fly with.
And you got strangers.
Crying babies.
Okay.
That makes driving a long distance just a little bit more inviting. If I had to choose, be in the air with strangers and crying babies, or in a car with somebody I know, as long as they driving.
No, but yeah, definitely take the lead. I mean, if you fall, you get back up. You'll be alright.
Yeah, absolutely.
Call somebody. That's why you build your network in undergrad.
Listen to it. Now listen to it.
Build real networks too. Don't just be building networks.
Your network equals your net worth.
Hello.
That's a word.
Okay.
Come on.
Social capital is the new thing.
Okay, hang on
It's
people
not
for
what
your
you
future.
know, it's who you know, honey child.
Hang on people who are doing what you want for your future.
That's it. That's it.
But this was great. I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you. Thank you. We had to give you a shout out. So before we end though, just give the people again your handle where they can find you just in case they need some of your services.
My handle for everything is Instagram and Facebook is Brilliance by Tajanae. My website is brilliancebytajanae.com. Brilliance is brilliance. For the non-spellers, I guess.
He just gonna cut it out again.
Look, I'm gonna put the link. I'm gonna drop the link for you. I got you.
Show you the link.
Yeah, so Brilliance by Tajanae on everything, and then brilliancebytajanae.com. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And now look, she's resting up after teaching and doing her work. But this is the winter time, so if you want to start 2020 off by getting some new callbacks,
I am taking all new clients.
You heard it.
Very responsive to my emails. My email comes straight to the phone, so go ahead. Send them on in.
Get on up.
Hey, look, there's no better time than now.
Okay.
That's it.
There's no better time than now. Like she said, just take that leap of faith. Just believe you can fly.
Hashtag no R. Kelly. Hashtag still too early. Hashtag we want sponsors in the future. Ooh, child. Trying to get us. No, ma'am. It won't be on no Oprah Winfrey documentary. We're trying to keep it here.
Right.
All right.
Because Oprah don't like black men.
And, okay. Woo! Let me get myself together because I felt about to reach out the phone and beat me like Harpo did her.
Yeah.
And this conversation is
To be continued.